Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Tony
Esteban.
Is there a Spanish Brian name I could use? I feel left out now.
Brian is so Anglo.
It's like the most Anglo name.
Well, his was just Tony. You know,
Yeah.
it's not really a Spanish, I guess.
Do you know why so many Italians became Tony?
Why?
Because they were going
Antonio?
to and why.
Oh, I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, it was a terrible joke that was said by like my social studies teacher in 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I got to keep that awful joke around.
Yeah.
Use
Oh,
this.
Steve's about to.
Use this.
Oh, I thought you were about to jam it into your own eye.
Hi, guys.
Imagine Walt comes
Hi.
in tomorrow and there's just blood everywhere. And it's like Brian told a joke so bad, Steve removed his own eye.
He just quietly did it.
Yeah.
Like he's in the Banshees of Inisherin.
How awesome is that movie?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I told you you finally watched it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Great movie.
Killer.
Did you watch that, Steve?
I did not.
You will love it.
Well, I guess I have to now, huh?
Yeah.
Can we do it on the show?
It's like it's a spiritual successor to In Bruges.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you did tell me about this.
Same actors, same directors.
I will watch it. I will.
I wish we could do it on the show.
I love In Bruges, though.
It's fucking
That was a
amazing.
great gift. You gave that to me as a gift, a birthday gift, just DVD. Like, watch this, you're going to like it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And I loved it ever since. It's so good.
In Bruges is big in our friend group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Underrated movie.
Speaking of underrated movies, we're about to watch a A&E TV original.
Very underrated movie.
This fucking movie has no business being as good as it is.
Let's just real quick.
It's amazing.
This was your pick, right?
This only exists.
Where did you find this?
So I was watching the History Channel in like 2001, and I saw this movie. I did not see it again until last year when I was scrolling through Twitter, and I just came across some guy talking about it, saying it's his favorite Christmas movie. I was like, I haven't seen that in 20 years. I'm going to watch it, and I was blown the fuck away by it. This movie rules.
Definitely not like a Christmas movie, and
It's a
to
Christmas
me, but-
movie.
It sort of is.
kind of, but
It's a war movie.
It's a war movie.
It's an American Revolution.
Yeah, it's not really a
It's
Christmas
like
movie.
Chouet Noel, you know?
Yeah. No, but
Not really.
That is more
No, that's a
Christmas.
Christmas
Joy
movie.
Noel like embodies the
Spirit of
the
Christmas,
season.
yeah.
I think this does too.
There's
If you're-
certainly
if
an
you're a
element of
red-blooded
divine
American, like-
providence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Divine Providence. I like they use the Washington phrasing.
Does he say that? in
He
the movie?
almost, if
Yeah.
you go back and you read like his writings and stuff,
He's all about
as
divine
far as
providence.
religious, you'll because like he was a Christian, but like it wasn't like a big thing.
He's
to
certainly a
him.
religious man, but he dabbles in Freemasonry, which certain denominations will say that's fucking evil. But he's always keeping it out of.
the public view.
Yeah, he keeps it private for the most part.
So he's a more secular guy, we'll say, at the least. But like you'll never hear him almost talk about God or anything.
you do.
It's mostly
You do.
he'll say like divine providence. That's what he'll say instead.
Yes. It's rare that he'll call out like Jesus Christ by name.
Yes.
Would you not think that there was some sort of divine intervention when it came to the creation of America?
I think it's some of the best evidence that there is.
You know what I mean? Like it's insane. On paper,
Specifically
we shouldn't
this
exist.
event.
Yes.
Throughout the war, everything that needs to happen for America to exist
To
happens.
stay alive.
Yes.
It's never to
Yes,
make
not
it
even-
win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like to keep him in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. A mysterious fog will show
Yeah,
up.
right,
Like, it's
yeah.
crazy shit.
Ice won't flow down a river when it should.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it's nonsense.
No one dies in the battle.
exactly.
I can't wait to talk about that because that is just like what?
Yeah.
Okay, let's first off
All right, but this is The
Yeah.
Crossing. It's an
The
A&E
Crossing.
TV movie from the year
2000.
2000.
Pre
Starring
9/11.
Dumb and Dumber's
Jeff
Jeff Daniels as George Washington
convinced-
and the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Wait, what?
General Mercer is the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Mm-hmm.
What? I am like that. First of all, the Sheriff of Rottingham is in another thing.
And he acts his fucking ass off in this.
Dude, you just blew my
I know.
fucking
I
mind.
know. The writing in this movie is stupendous. The acting is stupendous. Now it's a low budget fucking movie for A and E.
It definitely doesn't
So-
like look
Yeah.
like the top quality.
Yeah.
But
I'm convinced this only exists because Jeff Daniels woke up one day and was like,
I
I
wanna
want
be
to play
George.
George Washington. Like he read a history book and was like, will you
It's
like
based on a book.
can we?
Yeah.
I know this is going to be a really hard reach, but do you have some information on the movie up right now or could you pull something up for me? Pull
what
something up.
do you want?
How much was the budget for this?
That with TV shit, it's like impossible to find.
We could probably.
That being said, it doesn't look bad at all.
It's a TV movie.
It's older from TV, so the
Right.
quality is
It's
diminished.
it's cropped in 4:3.
the
it's
quality
not
is
a wide
diminished.
image.
It probably looked good back
it's
then
tight.
too.
I'm
so-
actually-
It's fine.
Kind of impressed by like some of the death that goes on late in the movie.
Action
it's
sequences are
pretty gory.
fantastic.
Yeah.
action sequences awesome, settings awesome,
Yeah, but
costumes
the
awesome.
settings are literally like we can just go out to the Jersey Shore and sit in the woods.
Like
you
I
know?
said, awesome.
Yeah.
They filmed it in Toronto. I
Did
just
they?
found that out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
April and May 1999 in Toronto, they filmed this.
Some of the last great years of America. Probably you could argue some of the last years
2000?
of true America. Yeah,
Before the dark
before the
times.
dark times. In honor of this, like when I was like, oh, the crossing, I just held my rifle the whole time, just watching the movie.
You knew nothing about this going.
Nothing going in.
Right.
I knew about the crossing. Like I knew
Mhm.
the general. Oh, it's a George Washington movie. Let me get my rifle and just watch it.
Right.
America.
Yeah, I watched it earlier this week, and as I was watching, I was like, I'm loving this so much. I had to text you guys. and
You
be like,
did.
this is just the best.
I didn't-
I had the same reaction.
I didn't get
yeah.
to love it as much as I wanted. And at one point, I had to stop taking notes. I had the baby, and
Ah.
she just started freaking out. So, like, once we get to the battle, like, as like it's starting,
Mhm.
I was just like trying to like juggle a baby,
Oh,
and
that
like
sucks.
I wasn't able to write notes or give it the attention it
all right.
deserved. But I was like, it's a battle, you know.
Yeah,
you've seen it.
But I didn't get to enjoy it the way I feel like I should have
Yeah.
because I was loving it. But you know.
Let's talk a little bit more about the production real quick because I have something fun.
Okay.
Do you know who directed this?
No,
Robert Harmon.
who's that?
It's the man who gave you the Jesse Stone series. 10 years of Jesse Stone.
The fuck is Jesse Stone?
It's the most generic action cop series you'll watch your entire life. Pull up a picture of them.
Jesse Stone?
He did a decade of only Jesse Stone movies.
I don't know what that is.
Show him Jesse Stone. Give him a Jesse Stone. Quick.
So Jesse Stone in Stone Cold. And it looks like Jesse Stone is Tom Selleck.
What is it, like Shaft?
No, well, maybe like the White Shaft.
He's White Shaft.
Yeah.
Jesse Stone.
Jesse Stone.
There's a
in
series
Stone
of these
Cold.
apparently.
Give me more titles.
Can I see Stone?
Jesse Stone.
Oh my god, this
It's-
looks awesome.
I have seen this cover before. But yeah, apparently
How
there's
did you find out about Jesse Stone?
Because I was like, this looks kind of cool. Who's the director? And I was like, what else did he do? And all I saw was Jesse Stone, Jesse Stone, Jesse Stone, Jesse Stone. I'm like, how much did this guy do? A decade. That's how much he did.
He also did one called Ike, Countdown to D-Day.
He's like the Fast and Furious of cop movies.
Wow.
The last Jesse Stone movie came out in 2015.
What was
it's
the
called
title?
Jesse Stone Lost in Paradise.
That's right. Hawaiian style.
So there's Jesse Stone, Stone Cold. That's the first one.
Read them all. I
Yeah,
want to hear
I-
everyone.
Jesse Stone, Stone Cold. That's the first
It's
one.
gonna be the whole episode.
Jesse Stone, Night Passage.
Ooh, that one sounds sexy.
Jesse Stone, Death in Paradise.
He's in paradise again.
Yeah. Jesse Stone, Sea Change.
Sea change?
C. S-E-A.
So he's on the
He's
ocean.
on the
Yeah.
ocean.
Jesse Stone, Thin Ice.
It's on the
that's
Arctic.
that's the cold one.
Yeah. Jesse Stone, No Remorse.
That's in
where
the
he
inner
gets-
city.
That's where he gets
Yeah.
vengeance.
By the way, these are all with Tom Selleck, and then it looks like he directs a bunch of Blue Bloods episodes. Then they went back to Jesse Stone in 2012. Jesse Stone, Benefit of the Doubt. And the last one of these was Jesse Stone.
Benefit of the doubt.
He'll give you the benefit of the doubt before he pops your ass.
It's like maybe it wasn't your fault.
And the last one is Jesse Stone, Lost in Paradise in 2015.
But he already had death in paradise.
I
You
worship
have to-
Jesse Stone.
I have to go back to paradise.
And now I'm lost.
Jesse Stone is great.
It looks like these aired on Hallmark. I did not know Hallmark had grizzled cop stuff. I legit thought it was all Christmas shit.
Jesse Stone
in Stone Cold.
He's drinking beer, clanging them together, doing stunners.
I'm shocked he wasn't in like the desert or any of them.
That's the next one.
That's the next one.
Just desert.
Jesse Stone in the sand.
Serving justice.
Jesse Stone glass houses.
Anyway.
All right. The Crossing.
We find out there's a nice little opening like text segment that tells you a little backstory.
background.
Yes.
Right.
By the way, this is on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
you
you
can
go
go
for
watch
free,
this
for
right
free.
now.
It's free, yeah. It's actually not a long watch either.
No, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I guess it requires some background, right?
Well, they
Yeah.
say that in winter 1776, New Yorkers were basically slaughtered by German Hessians.
New Yorkers?
That's
No.
what
Well, the
No.
Battle of Brooklyn
They're
had
talking
happened.
about Brooklyn Heights. Yeah.
Where you may remember our buddy Al Pacino.
Yes,
Right,
we
right.
talked about Brooklyn Heights
Yes,
with Al.
we did.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess that's
Danny.
what they're referencing. So
Danny.
We gotta get out of here. There's a bunch of Germans coming up the hill. They're gonna put us down like dogs. Then they're gonna drag me around because I'm the fox.
I'm gonna fall in love.
Ooh, I looked at that woman. She's gonna fuck me now.
I live in a rope factory.
Uh-oh,
My son's a thug.
Here comes Donald Sutherland. That movie stunk.
That movie sucked so much. I can't believe it exists. Look at the stark difference between the two, but who's starring in each one?
I know,
It's just
right?
So
Al
funny.
Pacino versus Jeff Daniels.
Daniels blows him out of the water.
So, 1776.
Yeah,
it
give
is
us a little
winter.
stuff, yeah.
All right, I guess we'll go
Close your eyes
back. Okay.
and imagine.
Oh God.
No, that's later.
next year.
Yeah, I know.
So the British land on Staten Island in July.
They're welcomed with open
They're
arms.
all welcome with open arms.
This kind of like these fucking rebels.
However, I would like to point out
Okay.
that there is a very active spy ring
Mhm.
operating on Staten Island.
That's why they were
run
welcomed.
by the Misserou family.
Misserou?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have agents working out of the Blazing Star Ferry, which they own, which is where we grew up. It's our neighborhood.
Yep.
They have a guy on Staten Island. They got a guy in Manhattan. They got a guy in New Brunswick. And they're keeping their eyes all over New Jersey. This spy ring. Later on. Not yet.
Their turn. They're American spy.
Well, they're in Long Island.
They're in Long
That's
Island,
the
yeah.
Culper spy ring.
That's like the big one, right?
I mean, it's all interconnected.
Connected, yeah.
Yeah.
They send to each other. Real quick, while you mentioned Staten Island,
Mhm.
did you see how many people want that Staten Island documentary that we mentioned?
So
I
we
saw,
came,
like,
you and
one.
I came up with that idea like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it never happened.
Well, it was supposed to, and then we had to cancel it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it eventually, I think.
I want to. When the weather gets nicer, I think we'll bang it out.
Yeah, we could probably do something cool. I don't like your plan. I think we
Yeah.
can do something. better.
We needed, well, this is for another day, another
Yeah.
conversation. We need to formulate something that'll be cohesive, not just like us driving around. You know?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get
Now
it.
is not the time.
We'll get you something. Give us some time. You know.
But yeah, so the British land on Staten Island. They cross over into Brooklyn. They have the Battle of New York or Brooklyn Heights, whatever you prefer. Washington gets beat badly, has to flee into Manhattan. They will be pursued by the British. They'll have two more battles in Manhattan, one at Kips Bay, one up in Harlem. I will point out that there is a fort on the Manhattan side of the Hudson River called Fort Washington, where there will be some holdouts for a while. On the opposite side is Fort Lee. Fort Lee is named after Charles Lee, who we'll get to later in this film.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to talk about him.
Then Washington just keeps losing. He's being forced
Yeah, he's
north.
getting his ass
Well, he
kicked.
didn't have like the Continental Army at this time is not really an army. It's just like ragtag at this point.
I mean, they're volunteers.
Yeah.
They are
Steuben
not
hasn't come
professional
yet.
soldiers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
They
So
are
they're getting their asses kicked.
they're zealous young men who got together and was like, we're gonna fight for this thing we're calling liberty. In Westchester, they'll have the Battle of White Plains, which is that's like the next big battle.
That's Long Island.
The Americans do
Right. White.
no, it's in Westchester.
Westchester.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Americans do not perform well again. And that is where Washington's army will start to turn south. And as they go south, the British will, pursue them. This is all happening over a few months, right?
Mhm.
It's like a six-month period. And when they enter New Jersey, the British start to occupy towns. Not like what they kind of just been chasing the army.
Mhm.
Now they're like, Jersey is thick patriot country. Like there's the locals are going to support the
They're
army.
rooting for
Yeah,
Oh,
Washington.
Right.
Yeah.
So and it's getting cold now. Now we're into November, and as they move through Jersey, they start to break the army up, because generally at this point in time, armies do not campaign in the winter. It's just too
war.
It's too miserable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it. So how they realize that the contracts that all of these soldiers have signed in the Continental Army will run up on December 31st.
Mhm.
So
And
at
they're like,
midnight on January 1st,
Army's just
the
gone.
army is
there
gone.
won't be an army.
Right. It disintegrates. So they know this. So they're like, we've already beaten him. He keeps running away.
Yeah.
So there's no point to chase
We
him.
just
We'll
have to outlast
We'll just
them.
outlast.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the snow to kill him.
And let's also discuss this general area. So when you talk about the Northeast, if you go just slightly west, you have a string of mountains.
Yeah.
You have the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, you can't really flee west. It's also the wilderness
can't.
out there at this point.
Also, even when you're fleeing on the end of that mountain range,
Mhm.
it is so ridiculously hard to travel through.
Yeah.
It is muddy. It's cold. It is hilly.
Mhm.
It is rocky. And that's something that most, like, when you're thinking of like big mountain, like if you go out west, those are real mountain ranges. But the ranges here, they have a lot of like weird boulders that are like strangely misplaced that you have to kind of maneuver around. Like, it's very strange.
Mhm.
In this, which I liked, as they're trying to drag these cannons through,
Yeah.
it's like they can't get through because they're getting stuck in the mud. They can't get through because they don't have the manpower to do it. So I
Well,
kind of like that little
it
addition.
speaks to the infrastructure of the colonies.
Yeah.
There's not really
It's
a lot.
not-
It's still wilderness.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a good scene because it's Henry Knox. He's the
Mhm.
artilleryman, and he is the guy who famously dragged the guns from Ticonderoga, hundreds of miles through the wilderness to Boston and saved the revolution at that
Yeah.
point.
Crazy.
Yeah. So where this starts, we are nearing the end of the year, 76.
Yep. It's the December 20th, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's
Mhm.
like the darkest hour for Washington.
It looks like it's over.
It pretty much is. Like, there's no hope. Congress, who was based out of Philadelphia, realizes how close the British have gotten and have fled to Baltimore.
Mhm.
Washington
They're with Chalky.
is desperate to get across the Delaware into Pennsylvania and just put some kind of
Blocker.
blockade between him and the British Army just to stay alive. They will scour the river for any boat just to either take or destroy it, because they do not want the British to be able to get their hands on boats to cross the river. And they do this extremely effectively over like a period of a week. In the movie, it's a real quick thing. Like, they just cross. They're actually like having a running battle in the beginning.
Yeah. They're like,
Which is not the case. That's movie shit.
Well, so the movie opens. I mean, let's walk through the movie a bit. So they walk through. It's winter 1776. The army is trapped between New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And the cannon, like you mentioned, is stuck, so they spike it.
Yeah.
And now it says Jersey Shore, 1776.
Yeah. BALMAR.
Yeah. Do you think that they went to like DJs and stuff, or it was just the wrong season?
They got there and it's just a bunch of Italians.
Yeah. George Washington has his like tricorner hat. He's like, I got my hat on.
There's a bunch of closed restaurants that are seasonal businesses.
Yes.
Yo, you're off season, kid.
It's a tram
Bro,
car.
you came the wrong time.
Watch the tram.
You want
car,
some
please.
perks?
The reason I brought up that Miseru spy ring,
Mhm.
one is because American intelligence will play a part in the movie going forward. But I once was reading about them in particular, and I should have looked it up before I came out here today. But I'm just going off memory here. I seem to remember a story, and you and I talked about it in the past, where the main spy from that ring destroyed a bunch of boats
Yes.
that were going to be used to cross for the British to cross into.
Yeah, I remember
across
we
the
spoke
river.
about
So
that.
he actually saved the army like single-handedly. But yeah, that's where they're at. They've crossed the river now, right?
Yeah. Well, no. So there's a guy in the outhouse. Washington wants to cross, and they're talking about it. And then they find a guy who's in the outhouse, and he's like taking a shit.
Well, he owned the dock or something.
He runs
He has
the
boats.
like the metallurgy
Yeah.
factory. Yeah.
And they commandeer the boats, and he's all pissed.
Mhm.
And now, as they're retreating, the Brits are attacking them.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they get in the boats, they cross, and that's the crossing. That's
the
it.
First of many crosses.
Movie ends.
But yeah, they're now on the Pennsylvania side.
And they're going over their numbers, and like, we have 2 arms missing.
So they started with 20,000 men. And
Yeah, they
300 pieces of artillery. They are down to 2,000 men and 18 pieces of artillery, which means on paper, the USA's done.
In reality, it was more like 5,000 men that they were down to. But
Which is
still, it's
still
90. It's like
low.
90% of the American force has been disintegrated
yeah.
since July.
And there's 2 armies missing from their current post.
well,
Let's talk about that because
So Charles Lee,
General Lee.
Lee and Gates are such scumbags.
Yes.
Mhm.
So both of these guys, Gates will actually be in the movie. Charles will not. Both of these guys consider themselves to be better generals than George Washington.
Yep.
And want his job. Specifically, Charles. Charles is a European. His father was a general in the British Army. He's European trained. He's been in Britain. He fought in the French and Indian War, and he has more experience than most of the officers. Probably not Washington, but he has more experience than most other, officers in the Continental Army. So he's well respected. He's the second in command.
Mhm.
Washington has made him second in command. So when they fled,
Washington, and this was a personality flaw of his, he was way too trusting sometimes of people that had political ambitions against
Yes.
him.
definitely.
It's like a big flaw of his.
So Lee has taken his army because they've split up. The idea was, if we split the army and they chase after one of us, the other will survive.
Right.
Continuing. There's actually 3 armies. There's
Mhm.
Washington's, Gates's, and Lee's. Lee has taken his army and is sitting in the New York backcountry, just waiting to see what happens. He wants Washington to fail so he can take over. Washington is desperately sent. This is not in the movie, but he's desperately. Well, it kind of is. They talk about
A
it.
little.
He's desperately sending dispatches to him, begging him to bring his army.
He's
down.
like, abandon the fort.
Yeah, come, please, help me, save us. And he won't. He just sits up there for weeks. Finally,
Eventually, he gets captured.
well,
there, right?
finally,
Yeah.
he decides, let me move. He decides to listen, to obey orders finally, and he moves the army into Jersey. But he doesn't
It's too late.
immediately come to the aid of Washington. He's
Yeah.
kind of sitting in the north, and he decides to take him and a couple of his buddies, leave the army, and go party for a night. So they
Yeah,
go to
why
this
not?
tavern in that, it's probably well known where it is. I don't know off the top of my head. It's probably like somewhere in like Jersey City today.
It's north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to a tavern to bang hookers and drink. And while they're there,
And that's something that Washington hated.
yes, the Royal Dragoons come
there.
and swarm the tavern. They arrest Lee, they take him prisoner, and he's out of the war for like over a year. In that time, and nobody finds this out during the war. This only comes out like years after he's dead. He became a turncoat and
Yup.
started taking bribes from the British. And this
So
will
this
become
movie-
apparent in
Uh,
the
took some privilege there.
no, well, he's not in it. They don't know.
They say he went turncoat. I think in this.
I think it was probably suspected, but nobody could know for sure. Washington trusted him. They do a big prisoner exchange, like long after this movie's going, like 1777. There's a prisoner exchange where he gets released.
And he's like so thankful to George and shit.
He gets put in command again. And at the Battle of Monmouth, he pretty much, there was an opportunity, I think, at Monmouth for the Americans to, if not win the war, do serious damage to the British. And he purposely blundered it. He fucked it up. He like sent his men, like told them to retreat, purposely like botched orders, gave confusing shit. And Washington will find him on the battlefield, chew him out, and end him. Like fire him, his career's over, and then Washington personally leads the charge to save the battle. That's not in the movie. That's way down the road.
Battle of Monmouth. That's probably not too far from here, right?
Yeah,
we're in Monmouth.
Well,
County.
what that was after the British will take Philadelphia.
Yeah, they do.
And
Washington desperately wanted it back.
Yes, but once the French joined the war, the French fleet is too dangerous that they can't keep the British. They can't have the British Army occupying New York and Philadelphia.
Exactly.
They have to keep New York in place. So they have to move the army back from Philadelphia to New York. And Monmouth was Washington taking advantage of them en route. He decided to attack them as they moved.
So real quick, on December 12th, 1776, Lee was captured by British troops at White's Tavern in Basking Ridge, New Jersey.
Yeah,
there you go.
Where is Basking
And as
Ridge?
he was caught, he was writing a letter to Horatio Gates complaining about Washington's deficiency.
There you go. Basking Ridge, it has to be close to where we are right now.
It's in Somerset County, so it's more north.
Yeah. Charles Lee, real scumbag.
Yep.
But once he's out of the picture and been arrested, his army is still alive. So the next in command, I believe it's Sullivan, will take it south to link up with
He
Washington.
also landed a
Which is
plane
in
on the
this.
Hudson, Sullivan.
That's Sully. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
That's Sullenberger.
So they mentioned, there's a scene in this movie where Sullivan links up and says like, yeah, Gates was captured in a tavern. We think he went turncoat. They do a brief, like a little mention there, you know, like which is cool.
Right. I don't remember exactly what happens in the movie here. I know there's a couple of scenes.
So Gates and Lee won't move, and now Washington is at dinner, and he's writing a letter on the 20th of December.
Is this when they have that dinner scene?
Kind of, yeah, and like
not yet.
And Howe is like talking. Oh, General Howe, the British general, is banging hookers instead of like going right away.
Yes, and they give her a name. What is her name?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mrs.
I didn't write it.
I forgot.
They said it.
But she's famous. Like she's looked at as like the savior of the revolution because Howe, rather than go on campaign, he didn't want to fight in the winter and decided he was in love with this girl. So he stayed back in New York with her. And may have actually bungled the war because
the pussy that saved America.
Yeah. Here's something that I don't want to glance over. Washington needs money from Congress. So he's like,
constantly.
We need money.
Yes.
We're desperate. Like,
the soldiers haven't been paid.
Right.
They're not being paid what they're owed, and their enlistments run out in like a week.
Now, one could even say that because of that, because there's spies also on the British side.
Sure.
News of that gets back to the British.
They know.
100%. This fight's probably over. Howe, while he's sleeping with this woman, also pulls back Cornwallis.
Well, no, that was Cornwallis on his own.
Yeah.
Cornwallis was like, it's winter. I'm
out.
These guys are done.
I'm out.
I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
Howe's sleeping with the floozy.
He never makes it, by the way. Cornwallis. He never leaves.
No.
Because of what happens at Trenton.
Yeah.
So
he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But the important part of this is who they actually leave close to them to tail the last of the army.
Right.
The last of the Continental Army is 1,200 Hessians in this.
Yes.
Was it 1,200 or is that like a somewhat accurate number?
I've heard 15. 1,500. It's a
Which
small
is still,
number.
Compared to the 2,000 to 5,000 for the Continental.
Well, that's the entire American
is
army.
Still.
Yeah.
you know, you could
it's
get overwhelmed.
insulting.
You could get overwhelmed.
Like the Americans look at it as insulting, like the force that they left to just occupy the area and watch them die, essentially.
Yeah. Well, they had such high reverence for that.
Well,
those soldiers,
yes,
right?
So the Hessians are German mercenaries.
Mhm.
They are, paid for by the crown. The Americans look at them as some of the most insulting thing, just their existence, that the crown could do to them, because we're talking about, this is supposed to be a guy claiming to be the sovereign of a free people, and he has hired foreigners to come and kill them. On top of that, the Hessians were used to brutal efficiency at Brooklyn Heights and slaughtered men trying to surrender.
Mhm.
So
they shot him in the backs and shit.
right. So the Americans have a special hatred for them. And now they're sitting in Trenton, just watching them from the far side of the river.
And they're in comfort.
And
And
yeah.
they have amenities.
It's
Well
not
stocked.
in the movie, but when the Germans first take up residence in Trenton, Trenton is on the river.
Mhm.
So from the far side of the river, the Americans will shower them with cannon fire and blow up a couple of them. Like, it's
Harassment.
Yeah.
Harassment.
It's not to any effect.
It's
really.
needling, you
Yes,
know?
Right.
But
So-
you'd be surprised how effective like little pokes could be here and there,
But they're used to this. They're professional soldiers.
Mhm.
But they're not expecting any kind of major attack. But they are expecting to be raided, though. So they're on guard for that. And in fact, they will be raided. It's not in the movie, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Mhm.
Remind me what happens here. Where are we at?
So
They have this scene where Washington himself goes and scouts them.
yes.
I don't like that, because there's no way that happened.
Washington like meets up with Sullivan, and Sullivan gives him the details of what happened. And now you have the dinner that he was about to talk about with all the leaders.
And finally, Gates shows up.
Yeah,
more or less
this is when Gates
same,
arrives. Yeah,
He's been doing the same thing Lee has. He's just kind of hanging back and waiting to see what happens.
Gates wants Gates is his main rival.
Yes.
And will go out of his way throughout the war to try to fuck him over.
now let's take a step back though.
Let's talk about Gates, though.
Let's talk about this, but let's remove hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy, Washington, a general, even though like we were,
He's gotten his ass kicked.
he's gotten
the
an ass
country.
kicked across the country and lost most of the army. So if you're his rival, you're assuming this guy's gonna ruin the efforts. Why
Yes.
am I gonna go help him?
We're all on Washington's side because we have the
Exactly.
We know what
I
happened.
don't blame Gates,
Yeah,
but
Like that's a
when-
completely
'cause I know-
reasonable thought process.
If you're a private in the Continental Army, you have to be questioning
Washington,
Washington.
Yeah.
you have to,
because all you've done is retreat.
Yes.
and get your
This
ass
is the
kicked.
turning point.
Yeah. The Horatio Gates. So this is the guy who famously
Sands.
We've talked about him before in our very first episode.
Yeah,
Gates?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Yep.
He is the guy who stole Benedict Arnold's thunder at Saratoga. That hasn't happened yet by this point in the war. And he was the darling of the war. Like, everybody loved this guy.
He was the best general regarded as, you know?
He was not. Like, anybody who was in the know knew he was a fuck up. Like, Benedict Arnold knew he was a fuck up. He sucked.
Benedict was better than him.
Benedict Arnold's probably the best battlefield commander of the war
Yeah.
on either side. But he's like I said, he stole Benedict Arnold's thunder because Benedict Arnold wins Saratoga. Like, he's the guy. He takes all the credit. This is why the whole thing happens with him. And then they give him an army to go south with, and at Camden, he gets annihilated when he has a superior force to the British. And he flees the battlefield.
It's like the one time we have a superior force.
Yes. He flees the battlefield, never to be seen again. This is the scene in The Patriot where the guy's head falls off.
yep.
But yeah, he's not a good general. But at this time, nobody knows that. So he is in play to take over the army too. And he's an arrogant fuck.
He's a piece of shit.
By the way, like right alongside Washington, this whole thing is General Mercer, played by Rottingham.
Yes.
I want to talk about him for a second. He's got an interesting past. This
well,
guy.
he has to bang that ugly girl for like all eternity because she saved his
Latrine.
life. Latrine.
Yeah.
Yes. From now on, all the kingdom,
All the toilets in the
kingdom
kingdom shall be called
Johns.
Is that Patrick Stewart's
Patrick
best
Stewart.
role?
Oh yeah.
So there's
It's good to be the king.
There's two people, right? You have him, but then you also have John Glover.
Yes.
So you have a fisherman and then you have a general.
Right. I'm going to quickly talk about Mercer. So Mercer is a
It's
guy.
a bad disease. If you get it,
Real
it'll
bad.
fuck your shit
Real
up.
bad.
He was born in Aberdeen, Scotland, and he was a Jacobite. You know about this? Do you know about the Jacobites?
No.
So the Jacobites were a rebel group who wanted to restore James Stewart to the throne. They wanted to
Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah.
Oh, see? Now you listen here, King George. You sit there and you're a warped, frustrated old man. But the people in Scotland, they're the ones doing the living and dying
Right, in
around
this country.
here.
Jacobite sounds like a Halloween candy. Jacobite.
Yeah.
Little jack-o'-lantern candy.
The James Stewart of the Stewart dynasty.
You want the moon?
Here he goes.
You want the moon, Mary? I'll lasso the moon for you and pull it down.
His father was ousted in what's known as the Glorious Revolution, where they banned Catholicism in England and shit. And they've been like hiding out in France ever since. They have heavy support in Scotland. The Scots love the Stuarts.
The root beer.
And the supporters of the Stuarts are known as the Jacobites. So they have this uprising, and it culminates in this thing called the Battle of Culloden, where like Scottish Highlanders, classic shit, fight the British army. They lose, and then all of the Jacobites flee. They have to go to like Pennsylvania, and that's where Mercer ends up. So he fights in the French.
He
and Indian,
hates the British.
Yes, he fights in the French and Indian War alongside Washington. That's where they become buddies. And,
Well, he fights for the English then.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he's in America.
He's not going to have the
Right.
French one. Let's not get silly.
But they become pals there, and they've been like best friends ever since.
Okay.
He will, about a week after this movie ends, get his head blown off at the Battle of Princeton.
Yeah, they mentioned that in
Yeah,
the
Say that,
postscript.
yeah.
But
You know who's left out of this?
who?
Billy Lee.
Billy Lee,
And that's an oversight.
the slave.
The slave.
Yeah, was he at? I don't know if he was at.
He
Trenton.
was with him the whole war, from my
I
understanding.
know he was at Valley Forge. That's
He's
for
definitely
sure.
a Valley Forge. So Billy Lee is Washington's favorite slave,
Mhm.
but he's also his friend.
Yeah,
And he's with him.
supposedly the second best horse rider in the country.
Yeah.
You know who the number one is?
No.
GW himself.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. Who would have guessed?
This rank, by the way, done by Washington.
Yes.
Yeah. Straight tyranny with that rank. That is a tyrant's rank.
But yeah, Billy Lee, I'm pretty sure would have been there. And he's just left out. So that's a little oversight.
I could see him being there. I don't know. Oh yeah, and we've got Glover. So he's like a Massachusetts fisherman. And
Hates the Whigs.
Yes. Well, the Whigs are the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he hates like rank.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like royalty. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He was with him all 8 years of the war.
Was
Wow.
he?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess he was there.
Deserved to be in this movie.
Yeah. Glover. So he
Yeah.
runs like a.
He's too old for this shit.
You can't get a cab in New York. They're like the amphibious commandos of the Continental Army.
Yeah.
at this
Fishermen.
time. Yeah. They will handle these river crossings.
They're like the frogmen.
Yeah. They're just excellent boat guys.
Mhm.
And that's what they use them for.
It's like the start of Marines / like
Sort of,
SEALs.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in charge of that, and he's like the main character in the movie.
Yeah. Did you guys get any sexual tension between him and Washington? Because I
No.
felt like that was thick.
Really?
Oh, they're very friendly.
You were shipping them?
Maybe I might have been shipping the fisherman.
Fish ship.
It's like, I must say thank you. He's like, he just nods, and it's just very there. I don't know.
I did not get that.
I think it was like a 2000s thing. Maybe
Honestly,
it was weird.
Washington's relationship with Glover reminded me, and this is going to sound weird,
More
of
than sexual
trying
tension.
to get Beaver to do anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
Like-
right. Yeah,
Like,
like you know I could do it.
yes.
I don't want to. I'll do it once you get me to do it. Yeah.
And rage and tell you things are infeasible.
Right.
And then you do them.
Yes.
And it makes you look like a miracle.
He tries the Scotty things.
Yes. Yes.
Like, you know how Scotty...
But you're always glad you asked me.
I moved last week.
Well, do you know what I call the term? I have a term for this.
What is it?
I call it beaver wrangling. Where you have to know.
Yeah. You got to know what I will.
You got to know how to deal with it when you get beaver involved.
Yeah. So I had to deal with this last week. And I moved.
I was good for all of that.
And the two of you were kind enough to help me move.
Yeah.
You dropped a fucking...
I dropped
You almost gave a
metal
concussion to him.
Brian's
You ruined
head.
his Christmas party.
Yeah.
You were very nice to Brian. You deserve to get chewed out at least once by me.
But we had to move this giant, heavy armoire.
Yes.
How heavy do you think that thing really was?
Well, I know it's not filled with recipes for soup.
Yeah, my friend had bought one once.
My friend lost an armoire once because two street toughs stole it.
That had to be like 500 pounds,
by the way,
right?
real quick about that. Yes. I was thinking about this yesterday. I have this weird tendency that when I go, I haven't done it in years, obviously, but when I used to go on job interviews, I would like freak out and start doing movie lines.
What?
Yes. Yes.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I was being interviewed by the NYPD.
And he went, "Show me the money."
I was being interviewed by the NYPD.
I wonder why I didn't get the job.
We'll always have Paris.
And
here's looking
there
at
was
you,
an
kid.
incident.
Why do you want to be a cop? Not for wrath. For the Red Dawn.
I want to hear the lamentations of their women.
There was an incident when I was a kid where I was assaulted by a gang of youths. Right?
Street toughs.
And
Toughs.
And my mother called the police when it was over, and they had this on file somehow. So they asked me about it in the interview.
Okay.
And they were like, "What was this about?" And I said, "I was attacked by street toughs." And the cop got the reference. So instead of
Did he laugh?
He laughed and he goes, "If those guys were going after you, this isn't the job for you." He then didn't pass me, and I had to come back for a second psychological evaluation.
He didn't pass you?
No. He's like, "You need to come in for another review." And I had to like go back. Yeah. I got past the second one, but not that one. But another time I worked for I was trying to work for Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay, I didn't know you tried to work there.
Yeah, it was when the store.
This is probably why.
Brand new Dick's Sporting Goods.
You
on
love
Staten
sports,
Island.
so obviously it's a perfect fit.
So I was like, I'm gonna go be a manager or something at Dick's Sporting Goods. So I'm doing a job interview, and the guy asked me, "What sports do you play? What do you do?" And I am just off the top of my head, I just go, "I'm a huntsman. I hunt." And he's like, "Oh, really?"
I'm a huntsman.
Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, really? What do you hunt?" I said, "I hunt with a bow."
Caribou.
A bow. So you claim to be a bow hunter.
Claim to be a bow hunter. I tell him, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, what kind of bow?" I go, "Crossbow." Got a crossbow.
He wants
And then,
details.
without fucking even, like, I'm just talking. Like
Bullshit.
verbal diarrhea. I
You're
go,
bullshitting.
I could shoot the fleas off a dog's back at 2,000 yards. Which, of course, is Doc Brown from Back to the Future 3.
How are you a real person?
You just start talking in movie lines?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can we
So you didn't get
I get nervous and I just start
Can we
doing it.
please set up an interview for him anywhere?
And just mic him?
Just mic him. Just mic him, please.
Yeah.
Wow. So
He
you
didn't believe me.
Well, he's right.
Yeah. He didn't believe me. And I didn't get the job.
Why didn't you just say basketball?
I don't know.
That is so funny.
Like,
Yeah.
we used to play
I
basketball.
told him I was a huntsman. I bow hunt.
Crossbow. The cross.
I said huntsman.
What the fuck? That's good. That's good. Where are we? What were we talking about?
I I don't know. What were we talking about?
Glover.
Yeah, we were talking about how there was
Beaver.
like,
That's
the armoire.
yeah. So we're moving the armoire, and this fucking guy is just telling me it's impossible to move this thing over and over.
No,
fighting me tooth and nail every
You're
inch
not
of the
giving
way.
it the detail.
It's really heavy.
It's probably 500 pounds. That's safe to say.
No.
That thing was heavy as fuck.
It wasn't 500
It's
pounds.
bulky.
It's 1 ton.
It's a ton. It's a car. No, it was all right. Maybe not 500, but that thing was heavy, huh?
Were there soup recipes in the armoire?
No. There's 2 paths you can go.
Malagatani?
You can go through the back door, which is like a step and a half, or you can go through the backyard, which is over grass, over like 5 or 6 steps, right?
The
And it's
house
kinda
has
narrow.
narrow
It's
hallways,
narrow,
and we
yeah.
couldn't maneuver it. So there was only
Yeah.
one possible way to do this. We had to go through like a back entrance. And
I wanted
he
to try the
was
other
like,
way.
No.
That's all. I'm like, do the other way. It's easier. You're going to kill us. This is going to be very difficult. This is going to be impossible.
But
That's what I said.
there's a gazebo in the backyard. And we had to get it under the gazebo. And all that would require is to just drop it slightly so that it passes under the gazebo. He's screaming at me. We can't do this.
No, because you were dragging it forward and you were hitting the roof.
How are you talking to me like this? We got it in.
We did.
You're talking to me like we was
But I
like
had to yell
you're
at you to
still
stop.
trying to tell me it
I had to
can't
yell
be
at you
done.
to stop.
It's in the house. We got it where it needed to go.
Because you were pushing
I was
it.
right.
You were pushing it. I'm like, hey, you gotta stop. You're gonna break your
Brian, you were
gazebo.
Brian, you were fucking
It's
there.
right.
Yeah, he was right. We got it through, but
He's still talking to me like I'm an asshole.
Like you
you
didn't
were.
get it.
You were an asshole.
Beaver was like, it's impossible.
And then afterward, Brian goes, you were just beaver wrangling.
Yeah. We got it in. It was a fucking pain, but you know, your ideas, you know, work harder, not smarter.
This is unreal. Okay.
We did it.
Moving on.
There's just an easier way to do
He's
it.
your Glover.
He's my Glover.
And by the way, I'm sensing the sexual tension.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna
Right?
fight.
Yeah. Glover, I just want to say thank you. And he's just that was after the yelling match between me and you. That's what you did. I just want to say, Beaver, thank you. And I just do it now. And you're gonna tell me that wasn't sexual tension? Have I ever looked at you and just went like in a serious manner?
Do you remember in Austin Powers when Dr. Evil goes, he's talking about Scott, he goes, he's quite wily like his old man. Then he goes, he like gives him some approval and then
just no serious time. Yeah. But anyway, dispatch from Congress comes and it's disappointing.
And you know, if the dispatch came in an electronic way,
How
they
would
wouldn't
that
have to wait so
happened?
much longer.
Yeah.
It could have been instantaneous.
Yeah.
If they used a great telecommunication service like Riverside.
What's Riverside?
let's say the Americans had all of the same
They were on a river.
the same exact like things that happen in real life. The only difference is they had Riverside to communicate with each other. Do you think they could have defeated the British outright in the beginning of
2
the war?
months.
2 months.
In 2 months with Riverside, they take down the entire British
Empire.
Yeah. Because they would be able to communicate at such a pace, it would be impossible for the British to keep up with
Can't
it.
keep up what's happening.
And when the British saw the magic of the 4K footage, they would just surrender out
it's
of
like,
sight.
wow, my
So what
limb.
you're saying is Riverside is a war-winning tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
My limb being blown off looks really good in 4K.
Look, if you want to telecommunicate, you want a podcast, you got to talk to people
Anything.
using some sort of electronic device
Onions making me cry, making you cry.
cry.
You don't want to cry no more.
Yeah.
Get the slap shop.
and get the Riverside. You can use the slab chop on Riverside, do a full cooking demonstration. You could dry things with your sham wow as you do it.
You can beat up a hooker and bite her tongue. Go to prison.
You can record it all in 4K and incriminate yourself with Riverside. So go to riverside.fm, click our promo code, sign up, and stop with your Zoom bullshit and start getting beautiful 4K footage as you telecommunicate. Riverside.fm.
When do they pull the ability for us to do this?
Even if they do, I would still do it.
Still do it, right?
Just because
You believe in
I
Riverside
love
so
it so much.
We We have to be doing the worst commercials of all time.
Or the best.
They have to be memorable,
Comedy works.
right?
Every one of them has been a disaster.
Comedy works for commercials.
Everyone.
Everyone remembers comedy commercials.
Should we try like the next one straight?
Yes. Yes.
He can't even.
Ladies and gentlemen, later in this episode, there will be
A straight
a
best.
straight, uncomedic read for
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.com.
I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be straight.
Straight edge.
I'm gonna try to get tears
Okay.
I think you could get tears. Could you cry on command? I think you could.
from laughing. Yeah. Every
That's not
time
a
I laugh
command.
on the show, I have tears in my eyes. I don't know if anybody has noticed. I'm like perpetually watered up from laughing.
That's how funny we are. So George gives a plan. And he's like, hey, because it's the dinner. There's 1,200 Hessians across the river. We're going to go in the middle of the night. We're going to hit them, surprise attack with all our forces, all our might, and we're going to take their supplies.
Well, they have to.
They have no choice. Otherwise, the war's over.
Yes. Congress cannot reinforce them.
Every single person
It's like
is acting
this
like
is
me.
impossible. Yes.
You're the Washington of moving.
Well, it's an insane plan. Think about it.
It's a
Right.
last ditch effort.
Yeah.
Right, lifting an arm war, that is an insane plan.
And Gates shows up at the dinner and is like,
Yes.
"There's
You
no
are
way.
a joke.
There's no way you could do this. You're a fucking asshole."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
And Gates is like, "We're gonna lose."
Now,
Yeah.
Washington's guys are all loyal to him. They'd never.
They love him.
Yes.
Mhm.
Anyone who's been around him seems to just have zealot devotion to him.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh,
You
that's kind of just the magnetism of the man, it seems like.
I
Yeah, 'cause
consider
You
him to
read
be the
book, what'd
greatest.
They say.
Yeah, is there any real reason?
People love him. He's a great leader. He's a good dude. He's like this like just great code, like
There's-
ethical guy.
There is a great moment in this movie that I think speaks to that, where Henry Knox is talking about how Glover insulted him and
Yes.
called him fat.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like demoralized him.
It's
Mhm.
pissed him
Right.
off. Yeah.
And Washington tells him, "Look, just suck it up. Like we got a job to do here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
And then they sit down in the boat, and Washington immediately insults Knox. He just goes,
He starts cracking
"Move-
fat jokes.
Move your
Yeah.
fat ass," or whatever.
Yeah.
And the men love it. They start laughing. But then immediately he sits down and he goes, "Watch your balls like you're going to tip it over because they're
Yes.
so big."
Yeah.
He like
It gives him a good
he,
hint.
He bashes him and then builds him up
Mhm.
of like being a fucking brave dude.
He got
And it's like-
everybody
He got
to.
everybody like in high spirits.
That's
and
what
ready.
Washington was great at. He was
Yeah.
great at like
Clips.
just getting people
Mhm.
for the people that weren't political rivals.
Right.
He's able to get you to like him
Right.
because he would like. He was real. He was ethical. He gave everybody the same treatment. You knew where you stood with him.
Mhm.
He was a way more emotional guy than he actually gets credit for. He's actually like kind of sensitive.
Yeah. I think he was personally like things like Benedict Arnold.
Bothered him.
Yes. Like he felt betrayed.
Exactly. Like it
He should.
Yeah.
felt betrayed. But
on a personal
Yeah.
level, it bothered him.
right. He's like, I need to punish this man.
Like even after the war, if he would have ran into like Benedict
He
Arnold,
would've fucking knocked him. The fuck
yeah,
out.
like yeah,
Mhm.
You would have stabbed him.
yes, it was still too personal,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So obviously Gates hates the idea. He's negative about it. He gets the boot.
Yeah. Well, Gates walks out pretty much. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not participating in this.
Well, they escort him out to be like, if he speaks, you know.
Oh yeah,
shoot
they
him.
actually bring him out at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
He's like, yeah, if he rats and blows up this plan,
Shoot him.
Yeah.
kill him.
loose
Yeah.
lip.
And
loose
so
lips,
there's a
man, sink
foreign
ships.
guy in that room with them. Is that supposed to be Lafayette?
No, Lave is not in the war.
Okay,
I
I didn't know who that was.
The German guy.
Was it a German guy?
Probably.
I couldn't pick
Or
out
the
the
Dutch.
accent. There's
The
a
Dutch
guy who
guys?
says that the Hessians are like devils to them.
Yes.
Those are
So
Dutch.
that is like the Amish.
Aren't they
Oh,
Dutch?
really?
They're like the German farmers from Pennsylvania.
Oh, they're German.
He's in charge of them. Like the German volunteers that have come, they speak German, obviously. So he's going to be the bridge once they're in town talking to
Mhm.
other Germans. So yeah, there's foreign speaking people in the American army, and that guy is their liaison.
We allow those devil tongues in our army.
So we get some nice soldier moments where they're smoking cow shit.
They're smoking cow shit.
What?
When they're smoking tobacco, he goes, "What are you smoking?" And he says like, manure, like dry manure.
Does he really?
Yeah. He goes, "You remember tobacco?" It was a joke, but like that's what they're doing.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it was a small thing. It was funny.
My uncle's mother used to smoke lettuce.
What?
It smelled horrible.
Like the devil's lettuce?
No, like literal lettuce.
Like dried
like
lettuce?
in,
And he would-
in a cigarette. Her mother.
Dry. I'm assuming this is just
Woman.
dried, right?
You put
Like,
lettuce
I don't
into
know.
a
Yeah, it
cigarette?
has to be.
I know she used to smoke lettuce cigarettes. I don't
That's
know
weird.
like how you get those, if they're even real, but that's what I was
I
told.
feel like it was.
That
I
has
feel
to be like
that's
something they
not-
told you as a kid.
Yeah, I feel like it was weed.
I have to.
Maybe it was weed.
Yeah, it's devil's lettuce. Yeah.
Holy shit. Maybe I was lied to. Is there a lettuce cigarette? Is it?
I'm
No, I
looking
don't
this
think
up.
There's cloves. I don't
Holy
think there's
shit.
lettuce, bro.
Was she just smoking pot and somebody told me she was
devil's
smoking lettuce?
Yes, dipshit.
Was this your aunt?
It was my uncle's mother.
How old were you?
Oh, young. I was a kid. And I just never questioned this. Holy shit.
So it was the devil's lettuce.
Is there such a thing as lettuce cigarettes?
Wait, for
I typed in lettuce cigarettes.
30 years, you thought people could smoke lettuce?
There's herbal. Hold on.
I totally did.
Hold on. There's herbal cigarettes. They're cigarettes that do not contain any tobacco or nicotine, instead being composed of a mixture of various herbs and or other plant material.
Maybe it was that.
I don't think so.
And lettuce. I'm gonna type in lettuce. Some are made with dried lettuce leaves or
there
shredded
you
cabbage
go.
leaves.
There you
It's
go.
real.
So she was smoking herbal cigarettes,
There you go.
but they didn't want you to know it was a cigarette, so they said lettuce cigarettes, I guess.
Well, I mean,
No, I
no,
knew
it's
it
not a
was a
tobacco
cigarette.
cigarette.
I remember my mother complaining about how bad they smelled. They were lettuce cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be either one, but I think it might have been the lettuce. Okay. Can we get some? Can we buy
go.
some
Sure,
just
you can.
to
Smoke some
smell
lettuce.
them? Yeah.
Let's all have a nice lettuce smoke. That's what the holidays are all about.
Yeah, right?
3 buddies smoking lettuce.
Just
That's
getting
how
it
we'll ring
in.
in the new year. We're
Yeah.
puffing on lettuce.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a way to end the year. Why? This is disgusting. Why are we doing this?
The new year.
It's for the show. We got to complete it.
I'm Tara. Yeah.
All right.
So Washington needs to move his HQ towards Trenton.
Yes.
So he speaks to an old man. He gives a bottle of wine.
Madeira.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
What-
a alcohol that comes from like islands off the coast of Africa. I don't know much about it.
Okay.
You never
Me
hear. The only time I've ever heard of Madeira is in this time period, like people drinking it now,
Back then.
in the
Yeah.
1700s. Like I don't think it still exists. If it does, it's incredibly unpopular.
Yeah. I've never heard of it.
But everybody seemed to be drinking Madeira back in 1770s.
Can we get some?
Can we get our hands on
We're
some
gonna-
It's a
Madeira?
fortified wine made on
wine,
the on the Portuguese Madeira Islands
Yeah.
off the coast of Africa.
It's just wine.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Obviously, modern era. They're trying to focus on quality now. It's still made, but in France, it's entirely used for cooking.
I guess it tastes like shit.
Yeah, it has to taste horrible.
But Washington sure likes it.
Yeah. Well, he
Well, wait,
doesn't
probably
have
hasn't
he has-
had
like
anything in-
what is his palate?
Yeah.
You know?
He's got wood in his mouth.
Yeah. He actually not yet. That's coming though.
But yeah, Glover's worried. Everyone's worried.
Yeah.
Washington's like, we got this. Let's just do it.
Well, what are the obstacles here? We got snow, we got ice flows,
Mhm.
we got the fear of
Everybody
it
knows.
taking too long to cross. Well, what we didn't talk
Pneumonia?
about. It, but here's the plan.
Frostbite.
The plan is to cross the Delaware in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
March, I think it's like 10 miles.
6 miles.
6 miles to Trenton. Hopefully attack the Hessians by surprise, take them prisoner or kill them, and capture all their supplies. That's the plan.
Yep.
It being a George Washington plan, it's overly complicated and ridiculous. He splits the army into 3 moving parts. They all have to converge at the same time. And
It's like a pincer.
yes, he always does this, and it always blows up in his face.
Yeah. Mind you, this is also on Christmas Day.
He tries another crossing later in the war and it fails.
Anytime he devises attacks, there's always like multiple moving parts that are based on synchronized watches and like ridiculous shit, and it never works.
He was ahead of his time.
It's always
He needed Riverside.
He needed Riverside. If you had Riverside, all this shit would have worked out.
Yeah.
In fact, at this battle, what will happen is they don't get the full army across.
Yeah, I know.
And they attack with like half the force they intended to.
More impressive too. And they're tired, cold, hungry. But this is on Christmas Day, and that's the connector. Because the Hessians will be partying all night.
Hopefully.
And hungover, and they won't wake up for their posts.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hope.
That's the gamble.
That's the gamble. And boy, did it pay off.
Well, this is the war, you know?
Yeah.
This is
It's
it.
the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, there's going to be ice flows in the river. It's going to be cold. It's going to be dark.
Well, they want it to be
Time
dark,
is
too.
of the essence.
They want it to be dark so they
Yes.
can attack them in the nighttime, because in the daytime, they're terrified they're going to get killed.
Yeah, and Washington's plan is to do it in night,
Mhm.
but it doesn't work out.
Now,
Right.
there's a scene in this which I was slightly interested in. They detain the locals, and they hold them for 3 hours. Was that true?
Yeah. I mean, secrecy is of the
Yeah.
If these people find out what's going on,
You'll suffer for 3 hours, but you'll be fine after. Don't
Right.
worry.
Yeah. Well, you can't let them
Right.
warn anyone.
It's just
Right.
a gag order.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mhm.
You'll let them go after, but you have to complete this attack.
Right.
Mhm.
But the man of the hour is that Glover guy. So he's got to get
Washington puts him in charge.
in
And
charge of the whole.
their moment together is great.
Yeah. Yeah. They have this scene where they kind of just talk about the difficulties facing them and what it.
He's
what
like,
it
it's
will
got to
take.
be you. You're the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it. Sounds familiar.
I compare myself to Washington, the greatest man who ever lived. So it's almost 10 p.m. Washington's like, we got to go now.
Yeah.
And
How much did you love this next scene?
well, I
With
felt
your
bad for
favorite man.
Knox.
Your favorite man. For Knox.
Getting called fat.
He got called fat.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
he
it's
did.
treason to be fat, and I don't like that kind of fat shaming.
It's treason to be fat in an army that hasn't eaten in like 2 months.
And
good line.
you know,
It's great. It's hysterical.
I think that's a real line too. But you
Yeah.
know, I think words hurt
And harm.
and harm,
Uh-huh.
and
Let's see if you could do this.
I think that if you're a person suffering from some sort of ailment or afflictment or something like that, and words are bothering you and they're hurting you deep down
Right.
in your soul,
Right.
It's killing
And
me
you
to
have an
not
eating
criticize you for
disorder.
saying afflictment.
You just did.
I misspoke, and sometimes when you misspeak, it's an accident because you're trying to do a line read cold
Right.
and you say the wrong thing, and some people
You don't want
belittle
people to
you
point it out.
and try to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
But I think that if you got to talk to someone about an eating disorder or any sort of personal
Or the
problem,
opposite of
or,
an eating disorder.
or you know, people being mean to you or hurting your feelings, you need therapy. And if you need therapy,
I'm gonna die.
and
I wish you heard this on the headphones.
This is
It's
a nightmare.
fantastic.
This is hell on earth. This is what hell is listening to Brian talk in that voice and not yell at him. Oh my God.
and if you need help,
Why won't he just talk like a person?
Well,
Like,
he
we're
said he
supposed
wants to do it
we're supposed-
serious.
Well, this isn't serious. This is crazy.
Right. This also might get us pulled from the fucking the advertisement business. They'd be like, this is actually going to
Serious?
lose.
Ready?
business.
I'll do it serious. Can
Four
I give
people
it a
just
shot, Brian? Do you
unsubscribed.
mind?
4
you
people
have to do it in
unsubscribed.
like in a voice though.
I will do it serious.
Okay.
We are the only advertisements that actually lose people.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone has problems. Everyone gets down in the dumps. Everyone
Even Washington.
faces their demons. And you don't have to live like that. You don't have to live in fear, in regret, in anxiety. You can talk it out. You can get the help you need. BetterHelp.com. It's there for you to better yourself.
Fair, yeah.
Do it.
Can you tell us more about this
Or
service?
else.
Well, BetterHelp is there to help you out.
How?
And you go on the website and you get therapy from someone over the internet, and they help you out, and it's great, and everybody loves
Do you
it.
get to pick your therapist?
You can pick your own therapist.
You can pick them.
And as my colleague always seems to want to point out, you can pick what faith they are. I don't know why that's such a huge thing for everyone.
Well, people are
but
faith.
maybe that's a
People
thing
faith,
for you,
you
and
know,
you can use
you're
that.
into it.
To your the service is there. Why not use it? Why not get the better help?
Listen, if I have I was never mind. I think I cut. I'm not gonna.
How was that?
I thought that was good. No, don't, just
Just leave it.
Just don't say it.
All right.
Don't say whatever horrible thing you're about to
Say something horrific. Go ahead.
Okay.
Do it.
Take a beat.
All right. So, it's treason to be fat.
Yeah. Oh.
And as they're on the boat,
War about campaign.
Knox, by the way, wasn't fat enough in this.
You
He
don't
was
think
fatter
so?
in real life.
He's fatter in real life.
Oh, wow.
Like he's like gigantically
He's not
fat.
that fat.
Yeah, he is, and like his wife is like even more gigantically fat.
Just the Knox.
They're both disgustingly fat. Yeah.
That's why the army's starving. They had a point.
Fat Knox. School of Fat Knox.
Fort Knox.
So-
Just fat.
So
stats.
a guy is singing as they're crossing the river, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Well, they're very far at this point.
Still, I wouldn't even want to take that chance.
Mm.
You're 6 miles away. Nobody's hearing you.
Well, you never know.
There might be a scout. Okay.
Trying to keep things under wraps.
I get it.
Under wraps.
I doubt there was any actual singing in real life, right?
Probably not, no.
Highly doubtful.
So they land, and they're like, it's light. What do we do now? And he's
Well,
like,
they're running out
Yeah.
of time.
yeah. And
They
he's
don't
like,
make.
we're going to attack him in daylight.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's got to be.
You got to hope that they're sleeping. That's it.
And
And now Brian's favorite scene, because you get the most badass man in the movie being a straight up assassin.
Who? Alexander Hamilton?
Hamilton kills the guardsman. What a Chad. Ain't that right, Brian?
fuck Hamilton.
Yeah, they come upon the Hessian guardhouse and
Two of
Hamilton
them.
and like one other guy.
Just kill four
Kill
guys.
They
Or-
massacre everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think
Slick.
that's
It's
real.
a great scene.
It is awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
That was the
scene.
first moment where I went, this really fucking rules.
Yeah.
That was the first moment Brian was like, wow, maybe Hamilton isn't that bad.
No, he's that bad. Wait, is that real?
Did they?
Did Hamilton?
I don't think so.
do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Would it be too surprising that at least something similar? Maybe not Hamilton, but
Well, I want to talk about the real event real quick.
Uh-huh.
On the way to Trenton, they lose 2 guys to the cold. They drop dead.
Okay,
yeah.
Those are the only casualties of the day.
insane.
Yes.
They probably would have died anyway.
Hamilton wasn't on Washington's staff yet in real life at the time of this,
There you go.
so it definitely
We
didn't
found
happen.
a huge
And
inaccuracy.
Gates wasn't removed.
he was
from,
there though,
Yeah, he wasn't on Washington's staff,
but he was there.
He may have been there.
Been like a minor guy.
Mhm.
but
Um,
and Gates was not removed from the camp at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Another
So,
inconsistency. There we go. Yeah. Look at us doing our jobs.
Hamilton was there actually,
yes.
and he commanded an artillery battery that
Right.
fired from a high point.
Yes.
So he probably, he wasn't. A
Hamilton
front
is an
guy.
artillery guy.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wasn't the frontliner.
Another thing out. So here's what happens. During the night, a rogue American raiding party that is not affiliated with Washington's army, they just happen to be some Jersey boys on the prowl, attack
Frankie Valley.
attack the Hessians
Just because.
just because. And the Hessians fight them off. And then as they are retreating from Trenton, they run into Washington's army,
Go.
who are on their way to Trenton. And when Washington finds out that they have attacked the town, he is flipping the fuck out he's like, you guys just blew our surprise.
Yeah,
But it actually ends up working in their favor.
because they're not going to
the
attack again.
Hessians
Yeah.
think that was the big attack for the night.
Yeah,
Nothing else is coming. And they
Oh,
go to
it's
bed.
so funny.
Yeah.
Just
So-
rowdy Jersey people.
Yes.
you mess with one of us, you mess with all of
Well,
us.
those are New Yorkers.
I know
isn't
it's
it?
New
Yeah.
Yorkers. Yeah,
So
Jersey strong.
unimpeded, Washington is able to march right up to the town and commence battle. They take out like the sentries, and then as the Hessians
That's
get
awesome.
out of bed and run out into the square, they're immediately thrown into a melee.
Right.
A
A nice little tread
Merry
on
Christmas,
tread on,
motherfucker.
tread on this dick, bootlicker.
What is what's the colonel, the German colonel's name?
Rahl.
Rahl. He is buried in Trenton today.
The way he looks,
He's
Zero
awesome.
urgency.
but he looks like the ultimate
He's meant,
villain.
he's meant to look like Mussolini.
He's like-
He does that move when he pulls the head
Yeah, like
back.
the
You're is this
Brando.
apocalypse now? Like, what is happening?
It's like that or like Blofeld. It's like he is just generic bald evil guy.
And he's German.
Yes.
Dead face. Just his men are dying. He's just, I gotta get dressed. It's just another day of work for me. Like what?
And the one guy who put wax on his musket takes him out.
Yeah.
That might have some truth to it.
I don't think so.
Why put it in?
Because it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
So what do you think of the battle in the movie?
it's
cool.
For what it is.
Simple.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's not
Like,
big.
It's not blowing anyone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's not the Patriot, like with that level of fucking production.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
For what it is, it's fine.
good. It's a TV movie battle.
yeah.
And you watch
And
the
there's some
greatest
Pre
fighters.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some blood.
Greatest
Yeah.
fighters in the world technically get curb stomped by a bunch of angry colonials. I love it.
I like that they have a moment where like the Germans are trying to set up a cannon and the Americans beat them to it and
Mhm.
blow the cannon up.
Oh, awesome.
some
That
artillery
role
fire.
should have been reversed. That actually should have been Hamilton giving the order.
Right. They made it Henry Knox.
They made it Knox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to give Knox something to do to
Yes.
redeem the fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they already let Hamilton butcher some fucking
Yeah.
guys in a house.
Let the fat guy have a moment.
Mhm.
Fatty go boom.
No,
And Rahl gets shot.
yeah, they surrender. The day is won.
And yeah,
And we get some nice little
Now let me ask
ending
you a question.
things here.
The thing with Washington, like almost not wanting to accept his sword.
I've never heard anything like
Me
that.
either.
I
I've
think
never.
that's pure movie
Mhm.
stuff.
I don't remember that in the Washington book. Him ever refusing someone's sword
But he goes after
goes.
Mercer urges him
He
to.
says you're being a dick. Go.
because it's the counter of the Cornwallis thing, where Cornwallis wouldn't give his sword
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. You're right. Yeah, at Yorktown,
because Cornwallis refused to
he
give.
sent a subordinate.
Yeah, Washington was like furious about that too.
It's insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say, you know what? The guy begs for the Hessians to just keep their money and their honor. Just don't fuck with them. Just let them, like, you could take their guns, just let them keep their money and
Yeah.
honor. And I think that's interesting because when that did happen, a few of them became Americans.
Yeah.
They stayed.
Yes. Well, many of these soldiers realized that life was going to be better for them in the new world,
Yeah.
especially after the war, than going home.
Well, you can make your own way
I love that,
completely.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Plus, their father
it's
is
not over.
Jews here.
Washington needs to recross. They got to put that river.
They gotta get
They
the
gotta
fuck
go
out
again.
of there because
So-
once word gets out that Trenton has fallen, there's going to be reinforcements
Mm-hmm.
on the way, and they can't be there for that.
And this kind of starts the game plan for America, where they change their game plan because they would take territories and try to hold it like traditional
Mhm.
armies. And this starts their game plan throughout the war of go
Guerrilla.
in, kick ass.
and
and
get
leave.
out again.
Guerrilla
We're
warfare.
not. We're
Yeah.
not
We're not
taking.
holding territory. Isn't as important as just us carrying on.
We're just going to bleed them endlessly.
Yeah.
You know.
Guerrilla warfare. Love it.
Well, they end up liberating New Jersey in the next week.
Well,
Like,
let's
How
talk.
do they liberate New Jersey?
So the two real strongholds.
Because I thought that the governor closed all the bridges and they made it difficult for
they made
anyone
a
to get in
massive
and out.
traffic jam,
And he sat
and
there
he
on
sat on the beach at a lunch.
one of the greatest pictures.
Do you remember
fantastic.
in the 2016 Republican presidential debates, the primary debates?
Okay, yeah.
Someone accused him of hugging Barack Obama.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said
Go
something
hug
like-
Barack again.
Like those aren't the hugs that I remember. Do you remember?
I vaguely remember this. Yeah. I remember the hugs from the people in New Jersey
Yeah.
after Sandy, something like
he
that.
goes, "You were hugging Barack Obama. That's not the hugs I remember." And then people started making like
What?
jazz albums with his face on it.
Yes.
The hugs that I remember. Yeah, that was great. Chris Christie, what a character.
Anyway, yeah. So how did they liberate New Jersey?
Oh, okay. So the main British strongholds in New Jersey are Princeton, Trenton, and New Brunswick.
Trenton fell with 0 casualties.
Yes.
Holy
so now
shit.
Trenton has been.
There were actually 5 wounded.
Yeah.
But
Including
no deaths. Right?
The 2 frozen guys.
Yeah.
Well, that I meant in the
Yeah.
battle.
And in the battle, there were just 5 wounded, including James Monroe.
Really?
I didn't know
That's
that.
insane.
Yeah.
We
Monroe
lost 2
took it.
interns on the way here. So
So they hightail it back across the river. Cornwallis will immediately spring into action and reoccupy Trenton.
But he already started backing away from that area, right?
Well, they've created the same situation that existed prior to the battle. Only now they've reinforced themselves with all kinds of new material.
Material.
Yes, Cornwallis comes and he's watching the camp. He gets there at night.
He's like, "Where's Mel?"
Washington has all the campfires going and slips out of the area and keeps a few guys behind to just make it and to bang pots and pans and keep the fires going and make it look like the army is sitting there. So in the morning when Cornwallis goes to cross the river, there's no army. What they have done, he begs, December 31st comes and goes and he begs the army. And he's given them this victory. So now
they're reinvigorated.
Spirits are high. Yeah. They're invigorated. And he begs them to stay on for another 6 weeks. And most of them will agree to. Mm-hmm. So the army stays in the field.
It stays together.
Yes. And Cornwallis crosses, finds nothing because Washington has moved his army back across the Delaware into Jersey again, where they will attack Princeton.
January 8th.
Yes. This is after the movie's over.
Yeah.
This is not in the movie. Mm-hmm. General Mercer will get shot on the way to Princeton.
R.I.P.
They have a nice sized battle in Princeton and rout the occupiers and force them back again. The British, realizing that they're going to be dealing with this all winter, decide it's better to just cut our losses and go back to New York for the winter. So they abandon New Jersey and go back and sit in New York. Jersey, which had been conquered territory for the last few months, is now liberated by the United States. Jersey rejoices. Congress returns to Philadelphia. This is a massive.
Is this Valley Forge now?
No.
Okay.
That's next year.
That's next year.
Yeah.
That's next Christmas?
Yes. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
The very next day, threw it away.
Was it the next day? Was that fast?
Yeah.
Wow.
The very next day, you threw it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
Like Steve?
I'd accept it.
Is that George Michael?
It's Wham.
Wham.
So that is George Michael, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked the end credits of this movie.
Okay.
I like that, just a little. I always like when you do that. You give a little pop.
Where are they now?
Where are they now? And it's like, wow.
When they fast times at Ridgemont Hyatt.
My favorite moment in the movie is when, right after the battle's over, and Washington comes in he's still in war mode.
Yeah.
And he's telling them we gotta go now.
We gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Like we're not stopping.
And are you serious? And he's like, yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah. Right. We won the battle. Right. We didn't win any war. And then
Mercer tells him that there's been no casualties. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He's like, give me what's the damage? And he's like, no one, nothing.
And he's like, are you fucking serious?
He can breathe again. You know, it's like, it worked. Yeah. This was God gave this to me.
Let me ask you a question. Is this one of the biggest one-sided victories in American history? It has to be.
Gotta be.
Right? No deaths.
Nothing. I mean, other than the Desert Storm.
Yeah. Iraq fell pretty quick. It was 2 weeks or something.
But
mission accomplished, guys.
This is insane.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that happened. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah. It saved the revolution.
It saved Al Pacino so he could go and kill Donald Sutherland at Yorktown.
There were more casualties in the Great Emu War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was Al Pacino at this point? Is this when he was hiding out in New York making rope? I guess so.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Right? No, well, yeah, because then he rejoins and goes to Valley Forge, right? Daisy.
You married? You fucking a sea captain wearing his coat? No, I only love you. All right. Don't get killed in the next 3 seconds.
What do you mean the British are sitting there?
The British are at the gates of Valley Forge.
How could we have known?
Remember when the guy comes up with the sword and calls her out by name?
Daisy McCullough.
Oh, God. That
One
was
of my favorite scenes
so
in any
bad.
movie.
So bad. So do you remember I sent this to you guys because while watching this, I was reminded of it. I went to Morristown and I saw just a plaque that was drilled into a rock. It was like a copper plaque almost. And do you remember when I sent this, what it says?
Shall I read it?
Yeah, read it. You have a better voice than me.
The last and deepest thrust towards Morristown and Washington supplies was stopped here by the American militia on June 23rd, 1780, after a punishing retreat. The British never entered New Jersey
Again
in
in force.
force.
Randomly
There you go.
stumbled upon like a
You
little
were just
rock.
walking around and you came.
I parked my car, I
Yeah.
walked. I'm like, what is this? I read it. I'm like, what? Really? Like just
Right here.
just right here. Right here.
It's
down the
always
block.
fun. It's always fun.
Well,
when they say
and
those
our
things.
state, we kick
New
ass.
Jersey or New York.
You're both in
Well,
Jersey
we're
now.
New Jersey.
We're New Jerseyans now.
It's our
that's
state,
it.
We were good for the war effort.
I don't
Nice
know.
state.
I've only been here a week. I don't know if I'm ready to start,
You just got
taking claim of that.
No, what you do is what
I
I do.
am all for
Being feared.
As a means of respect.
I've decided that I'm going to go all in with straight New Jersey nationalism.
yeah.
I'm going to be pro Jersey.
Yeah.
Staten Island will always hold a higher
I
level.
agree. I'm with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
We're
I'm
in the
gonna-
same boat.
Yeah. I'm gonna push Jersey interests, but keep like a flame burning for like the paradise lost that is Staten Island.
I'm with you. Yeah, I do the same thing. So what I do is I claim Staten Island in New York
Right.
when it's like
When it's
advantageous, and every
Right.
other time I claim Jersey. So like right now, because we could attack Steve about how great our state was in the Revolution.
Right.
His
Right.
state was shitty fucking loyalists.
You're
Oh,
not
New
wrong.
York. New York's not loyal. Staten Island is.
Yeah, you're
And
not
I
wrong.
almost enjoyed that more than anything. Yeah.
Long live the crown, you pieces of shit. You dirty colonials.
The committee of like safety that the New York Congress set up in '75
Uh-huh.
made Jersey because they just couldn't trust Staten Island. It was too dangerous. They kept aiding the British. Like British ship, like the Continental Congress was like, we're boycotting shit. We're closing the ports to any British goods coming in from Europe. And Staten Island was like, well, if New York isn't going to let you in, just drop the shit on the beach and we'll hook it up. So there's tons of smuggling coming through. And
Like we know some guys.
yeah, and it was causing all kinds of problems.
Literally, like the town.
like the rest of the surrounding Jersey hated the Staten Islanders. Like if they tried to do business in Elizabethtown or something, there was incidents of them getting like lynched. But I read a story in this book.
No black, no Irish, no Staten Islanders.
There's this book called That Ever Loyal Island I've been reading, which is
You should sent the cover. It looks great.
it's about loyalism on Staten Island.
Where did you find this?
Richmond Town, which is like
Okay.
the living museum on Staten Island.
Yeah.
I do want to
bought it in
go
the
there again,
It's awesome.
just for the concert that I think
Yeah.
in the winter they have it a lot, and it's like you're in the 1800s again. We should actually just like go there and kind of like film
Yeah.
it
I
for
would
the
go.
show.
When is
yeah.
this?
I'll get a date.
Okay.
I'll get
let's
a
do
date.
it.
They have it in the winter, so but it's nice.
But yeah, when so right before the British landed for the invasion of New York, the Americans were so concerned about livestock on Staten Island. They were like, if the British land, they're going to take all the supplies, and we don't want to be supplying them. So they sent in Jersey guys into Staten Island to just steal cows and pigs and things and take them back to Jersey so that the Staten Islanders wouldn't help the British.
Tony Soprano, I'm
Yeah.
imagining showing up.
Dirty thieves
Yeah.
stealing from my land.
But yeah, that's the movie.
So,
It's really good.
Let's do.
what do you rate it?
How about you? You pick this.
Well,
Go first.
I love it. I think it's
Mhm.
awesome. There's really no flaws in it for me, but the made for TV aspect makes it so that I can't
Like keeps when you could tell where the commercial breaks
Yeah.
were.
yeah. This I can't give this too high.
No,
I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's
I
that's
gave it the
exactly
same.
where I am. Yeah.
I gave it an 8.
But this I really don't have
It's
any
good
criticism.
consensus.
Like it's insane to me, real quick. It's insane to me that our country.
It's so dialogue based.
Yeah,
If
it
you
is.
like
Oh,
good
yeah.
acting,
It's a lot
this
of
is
people
yeah.
talking in rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how have we not made a George Washington biopic that just like kicks ass? Like it's insane. Like covering the war.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer
There's
to that is.
definitely a hole.
Like
For
we didn't
that.
have a Lincoln movie until like almost 8 years ago.
You'd think like the first silent film directors would have jumped on that immediately.
Yes.
And it just didn't happen.
Like you would think that's all America would be publishing out.
Mhm.
He's the father of the fucking country.
Yeah.
You even had a show about like Adams,
Universally like beloved.
like John
Yeah,
Adams.
all
You had
over
a
the
whole
world.
show about him.
Like,
And that John Adams show
Awesome.
is a masterpiece.
it's
Awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like, where's the Washington?
But like the British have a million retellings of King Arthur who's fake.
Right.
Yeah.
We have all this guy's deeds and all his shit, and it's fucking real.
There's so much Henry
And
VIII
and we
shit.
don't have one.
Yeah.
Like not one. Like this is the only one
The
really.
closest thing. Made
Yeah.
for TV movie from 2000.
It's
starring
like
Jeff
how
Daniels.
did nobody do it? I don't get it.
Jeff
It
Daniels'
is
best performance.
mind-boggling.
What the hell else was he in other than Dumb and Dumber? Like, why is the Dumb and Dumber guy George Washington?
I think
And why
he
is he
was
so good at it?
fantastic.
He's a good actor.
What else was he in?
He was on that Aaron Sorkin
By the way,
show.
I can't tell you how many times throughout my life I've confused him and Jeff Bridges. Every time, like, I thought Jeff Bridges was in Dumb and Dumber for years.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll happen. That'll happen.
Jeff Bridges is awesome.
He's in Gettysburg.
Oh, that's right. He's in fucking He does this shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
He must be like a history, like,
Yeah.
he's in Pleasantville.
You know who he is in Gettysburg?
No.
He's the guy at the Little Round Top who fixes bayonets and charges down the hill.
Oh,
He's also in Gods and Generals.
really? Oh yeah, he's a history dude. Okay.
Was he in?
So we're gonna get when we do those, we're gonna get a little more.
Oh, you're
more
gonna
Bridges,
get more
you know?
Daniels, yeah.
I mean, Bridges, little Daniels.
Little Daniels.
That's what he calls his
Let me
dick.
see your thing here because
Oh, real quick, talking about Washington. How good was that SNL sketch
Hysterical. Best sketch they've done in years.
with
Where they're just talking about measurements and
Yeah.
yeah.
this is them crossing the Delaware.
This is Brian's interpretation of the famous portrait.
Yes.
The people are Q's. You just wrote a bunch of Q's.
Well, it was my secret QAnon code.
They're eighth notes.
There's their eighth notes. There's no paddles, not a single paddle to be seen, and Washington is sig hailing.
That's some rough water too. Like the
That's
waves
really-
are hot. It's
Yeah.
throwing the boat off the surface of the water.
They're on a. It's a tsunami. It's a tsunami, you could say.
Like the boat is moving, so it's like a speedboat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Very, very good.
Well, you knew what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you think of the movie, Brian?
He has a peg leg.
Oh, I dug this. This was really good.
Yeah, we all gave it an 8.
Oh, I didn't realize everyone else gave it
Oh,
a
it's a
number.
consensus. The second you said 8, we're like, yep, we both
Yeah.
did 8. Yeah.
Did you like know anything about it? You seen it before?
I never saw this. I only had heard of it because you mentioned it to me like once years ago,
Uh-huh.
and you mentioned it last year.
Right.
So
If you're a fan of American history, this is
This is a good one.
this is
it's
a good
free
one.
and it's on YouTube. There's no
Free.
excuse not to watch it.
Yeah, it's short.
It's a great Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas movie, but a good watch.
I consider this a Christmas movie. What about
Christmas
you?
is over now, right?
This comes out on the
Yes,
27th.
It's over.
So it's over.
It's over.
It's over. Well, this is our last episode of the year, guys.
Wow.
That is the
That is a
first
full calendar year for reviewing
year.
history.
Yeah.
Full
Is that
calendar
why you wore
year.
the shirt?
Just coincidence.
Oh.
Full calendar year of reviewing history.
Yeah.
I think every episode was videoed.
Yes.
This is the first full video year. Yeah.
52 videos,
God damn it.
1 year.
Aren't
lot.
you lucky?
That's a lot.
How many episodes do we have? What number is this?
What number episode
Yeah.
will this one be?
Yeah.
90?
No, is it? Let's see. Sorry, guys. It's fucking annoying.
I mean, I asked you an out of the left field question. I didn't expect
All right.
it.
No, so
I was-
the 80. This is 85.
85.
85.
So we're 15 weeks away from 100.
Wow.
This was a good year.
We got to do something cool
The
for
show
100. It did.
It did. I think
We
this
got
was a
listeners.
successful year.
We're almost at 1,000. We might be at 1,000 by the time this comes out. Who knows? But yeah.
Are we on a good pace? I don't know.
Oh, no. No.
We're not.
No,
right?
no. Horrible.
What do you mean
pace.
by good pace?
Listeners per episode. New listeners per episode.
It's erratic.
It's peaks and valleys.
I
Peaks and
I
valleys.
think it really kind of depends
The
a lot.
peaks are more like short hills.
There's no like telling how to like for some reason Tombstone is one of our biggest episodes.
Yes.
Very
I
strange.
don't know why.
And
Well, people
Glory.
love that movie. I think it's when we do
Glory.
movies people love,
Uh-huh.
we
But
get
that's
more
not true.
hits.
People love Titanic. It wasn't as
Like
big
I
as
thought people
Glory.
love Gangs
We
of New
were
York.
on
and
video
that
on
one's-
Titanic. You
that
can't
one's,
really
like,
judge that.
That's
nothing
true.
special. The Gangs.
Gangs?
Yeah.
Gangs, it was pretty big for
Gangs
us.
was big.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gangs was big. Big
I don't
movies.
know.
You know, when I pick things like the Old Testament,
Yeah,
Right. We lose listeners.
I get when it's a guest and like the E-Rock episode's our biggest episode, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
People
That and
still find that one and like,
the Johnson episodes
Yeah.
are good too. The Walt episodes are good. I mean, it's them.
yeah, the
It's our
TSD ones, yeah.
But anyone who's been sticking with us for a year now, and
Over a
some,
year.
some of you have been around since the before time. And the
Some
long,
of you
long
have
ago.
been around from the last podcast.
With the one guy. I very
That we
much
know of.
appreciate everybody. This has been quite mind blowing.
It's been a year,
Been a
man.
journey.
Did you think it would last this long, number one?
I thought we would have fought each other to death by now.
Yeah?
Yeah. It is high stress. Like the fact that we're doing this every week.
We don't do it every week.
Yeah,
An episode comes out every week.
I'm shocked that we consistently put one out every single week and never missed one.
It's a little inside the studio kind of thing going on.
Inside the
it's
actor studio.
definitely not the easiest thing when you have a full-time job to do
Yeah.
this for anyone, including all of us. It's
And
work.
we
It's
really
work.
are
It's work.
right now, we're passing by the skin of our teeth with that shit.
Well,
Well,
this
they
is,
don't know that.
this, I was freaking out about these two episodes.
So you get ready to freak out again because we're not recording next week.
What do you got next week?
Christmas.
The 23rd is a Saturday.
Yeah, I have Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Oh, you doing stuff on the 23rd?
I work the 25th, so
It's
I
Christmas.
will be
Oh.
having Christmas on the 23rd.
Okay.
I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
We'll get it done.
We got to get a big episode.
We get it
somewhere.
done. We get it done.
Yeah. we got to get that next pick.
But this has been an awesome year. We did a lot. We got a website. We got merch. We got guests. We
The
got.
bonus pod.
I can't
bonus.
believe we have merchandise. Like,
I mean,
that's
I
awesome.
really regret that in some ways.
It
because
hasn't sold. There's no reason to have it. But
we
the
sold
fact
some
that it
stuff.
exists.
We sold some stuff here and
Yeah,
there.
some of it. Some of it. I appreciate the guys who did buy.
I think it's important to have that just because let's say like when we do raise money like we did in the Bandcamp thing, there's a direct link there. We can just make stuff and put it out. It's
really,
awesome.
I'm proud of the show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
and we got
And I'm grateful for the people that enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I-
Except
and
you,
I-
I'm not really grateful for you, but whatever.
and I think we all
I hate my co-host.
Yeah, we don't like each other that much.
I think in the next year there's going to be a lot of big new things dropping in addition to the episodes. Like extra
Like
content.
See, like how you do the beaver wrangling. We need something.
He's got to get.
to
He's
get
got to
the
get.
in- we need to
roped
get
in, yeah.
information out of this man before he
He
just
does
springs
things
shit.
and he doesn't involve us, and
yeah,
it's infuriating.
it's getting bad.
like buy gas.
Right. Like embezzlement.
No one knows what we're talking.
No,
about.
we can't say it.
We could say it.
All right.
All right, you want to talk about
Let's
this?
talk
Yeah.
about it.
All right. Brian has a policy where it's let me do things and then ask for forgiveness.
Better
later.
to
Yeah.
better to ask for forgiveness than beg for permission.
right.
Right.
So he does things. This is a recurring habit he has,
Mhm.
and then he's just like, yeah, this is happening. Like
Sorry.
like book live events at movie.
My bad.
theaters.
Well,
this
that
all-
one we spoke about.
This all culminated with him using the
Company
money
card.
the company card,
To
our
buy
joint
gas.
account to buy gasoline for himself.
I'd be like, sorry, I'll put it back later. Just ask
Which
us.
none of us would ever have a problem with
say
him doing.
something.
But all he had to do was just go, hey, do you guys mind if I do this?
I'm at the gas station. I can't sit there and wait for an answer.
It takes a second.
I didn't have any money in my car. All my bank accounts were negative. I'm piss broke. All my cards are maxed.
It takes a second. It just takes a second. Hey, do you mind if I use the car for gas? First response. No, go ahead. We don't care.
I put the money back.
Yeah, but you didn't. You went through me first.
Yes, he
You
put the money.
scumbag.
He put the money back, but him putting the money back was here, Beaver. Do
He
something
sent
with
it
this.
to me to be like, go fix my problem.
Because you have the ability to transfer money to the account through
You have
Chase.
a debit card. You go to the ATM and do it. You have the banking information. You just
Yeah,
say,
I had to pay
"Hey."
a fucking fee to the ATM now. It cost me $4 to put the money back. You could have done it for free.
Why didn't he go to Chase?
How are you?
I don't
a real
have
person?
Chase.
Yeah, but
yes, you do.
You know,
No.
Wawa has no. You can use their ATMs, no fees.
I
I
gave
didn't
you
know
the
that.
information for Venmo. You just put it in Venmo. You link it up and then you just send the money to the bank.
But you have Chase. You could do that too easily. Much easier.
Am I talking to a brick?
He is not going to accept anything you have to say.
He's not
already made
gonna.
up his mind.
He's not gonna. It's
I don't understand
If
what
I have
his-
money problems, Beaver's got this.
It's not Beaver has it. It's I paid
it.
us back.
That's it.
You have the ability to transfer money
So
to
do
the
you.
account.
So do you.
No, I don't have the
We all own
ability.
the account. It's all our names on
I
it.
don't have the
Can I
ability.
ask you a question?
Yes.
Where are you going with that gas?
I was going home from work.
Did you make it?
Yeah, 'cause I filled up.
If you didn't get the gas, would you have made it?
No. I had like 10 miles.
Okay.
This is an emergency.
Yeah. That's why I used it.
If there's other emergencies, is this going to happen again?
I hope it
I'm
doesn't
going to
have
lock
to.
you out. You embezzler.
When is he gonna start inventing emergencies
Right.
like the federal government?
You guys make it seem like I didn't put it back.
Ryan,
Listen.
I think you're a crisis actor.
Listen, Kiss is playing another concert.
Yeah.
We need money. He's doing a lap.
Tell us about the Kiss show.
So how is
Tell
the
us
kid?
about
Yeah,
the
how
last
is
Kiss
the,
show.
how like okay? We oh my god, that echoed in my ear. Yeah, bad move. But
Tell us about the Kiss show.
tell us, was it good?
So I saw the show before. And
You went to both Kiss shows.
went to both Kiss shows. I saw the Friday night show. Then we potted the next morning.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I spoke
You still
about
had great expectations, much like
You-
the song.
Gene. Yeah.
You were
More
very
Charles
happy.
Dickens.
You were
Yeah.
very happy and hopeful.
I had hope.
Yeah.
So I go to the next show, and this is a mind-blowing thing that happens. So I knew I was going to meet up with a listener,
yeah, that's cool.
and I'm sitting there on my phone, and a guy walks up to me, and he looks like just like one of our friends.
Mhm.
And I thought it was our friend. I was like, why the fuck is he at a Kiss show?
He hates Kiss.
He hates
Yeah.
Kiss. And then I'm like, oh shit, he's wearing the Reviewing History shirt.
That's awesome.
And I realize it's
Thank you for buying
a
it.
listener.
Mhm.
He's wearing the Christmas sweater. It was the Reviewing History Christmas sweater, which, if you're listening to this, you missed your chance to get
Oh,
it.
you wore
Gotta
that.
get him on it.
You wore that.
Get
in
him is on
public,
it.
huh?
Yeah.
What
he
a
wore it
man.
to the
Alright,
show.
That's
What a
balls.
maniac.
That's balls. Remember when we last episode? I believe we were talking about a certain level of crazy.
This guy is perfectly sane.
All right.
He just was wearing a really cool shirt.
Yes.
So we
a
were
K.
talking. We hung out in between the opening band and
Who opened you? So you know, random.
Amber
Heard.
Kiss. Yeah, Amber Heard. She shit on a bed in front of everybody.
They wheel out of bed on stage.
Yeah,
then
and
sued-
she just goes,
Okay, everyone.
and then sued two guys in the front row.
I had corn last night. So I'm at the show, and me and the guy
Uh-huh.
are hanging out. We're having fun, and they there was a pay-per-view, and they had like a woman host, and she gets on mic, and she's like, "Make sure you stick around after the last."
She's saying this
song."
on stage.
She says this on stage. It's on the pay-per-view. She's like, "Make sure you stick around after the last show,
Last song.
the last song,
Something
because
special.
Kiss is going to introduce the new lineup,
New lineup.
and they are going to play a song they have never played live before."
Oh boy.
So you hear this. What do you think?
It sounds
It's
like
they're
there's
they're
gonna be
retiring, but
something
Kiss is
special
still
about to
going.
happen.
There's going to be a new lineup.
Right.
A new members. Yeah,
What that
That's it.
means, I don't know.
And
they're
I-
replacing everyone in the
so,
band.
so I thought Nick Simmons was in the opening band. He wasn't. It was just Evan Stanley. but
Nick's
Ev-
on Gene's son.
Yeah, and
Oh.
Evan Stanley is Paul Stanley's son, and he was in the opening band. Nick Simmons was in the house because I saw that.
Stuttering Stanley taught at the school in Philadelphia.
Yes, he did. Stutter Stanley.
Mhm.
So I thought
You talk funny when you went to school here.
Yeah.
You talk funny all through college.
Continue.
So I thought that I'm sorry. I thought that they were going to join the band. That would be the passing of the torch, right?
Like the kids are putting on the makeup.
Like so Gene's kid is now,
that would have
the
been
new
cool.
demon.
Franchising. No, that wouldn't have been cool. That would have been horrible.
They said that they had wanted to do that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Would you have liked to have seen that?
It's better than random people.
it would be a cool moment. It's better than random people.
It would be a cool moment if they came out and like, we're gonna play with our kids right now, and everybody was playing together. I'd enjoy that. That's interesting and like meaningful. But to say this is the new Kiss with Nick Simmons, no.
I would be willing to give it a shot if it's Nick and Evan. If it's their two kids and like they're going to continue the legacy, they'll have their own songs, they'll do their own stuff.
How old is Evan Stanley?
I don't know.
Nick
His
Simmons
20s.
probably like our age.
Yeah, they're both roughly our age.
old enough to play.
Okay.
So, I would have been on board with that, and that's where my head goes, or it's four random dudes. But
That's a reasonable thing
now,
to
now
assume.
I'm
Yeah, that'd be great. Just four randos. This is Chet
New
Whiffle.
Kiss.
But I can be on board with that. If you're saying you're going to recast, and they've always said that, and you're going to keep it going with new people, fine, that makes sense.
Okay.
But you're hyping something up now that it's a new lineup,
And you
right?
gotta stay now. Yeah.
No, you gotta check it out.
So they
I
do
gotta
this.
stay, yeah.
They do the same exact show, beat for beat, note for
As the
note,
night before.
as the night before. Same exact
Nice.
show. It's fine. It is what it is.
I like it.
Then we get to the end. They're doing rock and roll night. This is the
course.
one difference. Usually they do rock and roll night. He
Close the show.
closes
Yeah.
the show. He smashes the guitar.
Confetti comes
All
down.
that shit.
Yeah. Big celebration.
So they walk and like they all get on these platforms that start rising up as rock and roll night is playing.
As they're playing.
As they're playing. And smoke, they start shooting smoke throughout the whole stage, covering it up, right? So I'm expecting a giant moment here.
It's going to be a switch of people.
A switch of people or something. Something is going to
Yeah.
happen. Paul Stanley goes, "Your love has made us immortal.
Oh no.
We'll see you around."
Did he cough afterward?
No, that's just me.
We'll see you around.
So is all this
would be so great.
Well, if Paul was
I'm sorry, I'm 70.
if Paul was actually singing, that'd be possible.
All right, yeah.
So there's all the smoke and stuff, and then God gave rock and roll to you.
Okay.
Part 2 starts playing.
And it's the studio.
It's the studio track that I've heard a million times,
Right.
and that's how they close the night before. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Sure, that makes
What is
sense.
about to happen? And screens show up, and these CGI cartoons of Kiss start playing God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
like a video.
It's like an
Watch it-
ending.
A video.
It's like a
Watching a
closing cartoon.
And they're like
Sure.
the demons' wings are flapping, and like they're flying around and all this shit. And I'm
Not
like,
good animation, I
I'm
assume.
like, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? So they do all of God Gave Rock and Roll to You Part 2. I thought maybe they were going to come back out or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They do the cartoon,
Time for a cartoon.
and then all these QR codes start popping up on the screen.
Oh no.
And all around the arena, like projected, it's like scan here to learn about the new era.
Look at our menu on
New
your
era?
phone.
What's the new
New-
era?
So I scan it, and like in an hour, come back here. I'm like, what? The fuck? Yeah. So
Wait, what?
What?
In an hour?
Wait, they didn't even have the website working for the end of the show?
they wanted to build it, I guess, for the big announcements. So I sit there in my
For
chair.
an hour?
No, I just sat. I sat there like staring, like I trying to process what's happening.
All right.
And
You were pissed.
our listener comes over to me. He's like,
Were you sitting near him?
he was like a section over,
Oh, cool.
and he walks over, and we're like, what the fuck was that ending? So then we left, and I was talking to people in the hallway, and I'm like, what the fuck was this? Everyone hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, this was like the dumbest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, what the fuck?
Y'all got swindled.
So what is it?
Yeah, well, did you
What
check the
happened after
website?
the hour?
So they're gonna tour as CGI avatars,
Cartoon.
and I didn't.
They're now the gorillas.
They were not.
They're
they,
Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
they were not.
We've transcended into being Murderface.
But they're not even like.
What? The
It's not like they're like a hologram or anything. They're just like cartoons on a screen that is CGI.
Who's this for?
So you're not. Why even do this at a theater? Just go to like at a concert hall. Do it at like a movie theater. It's the same shit.
I would rather just watch a live video of Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just watch it at home on your TV.
The only way this would be cool is that like if I could plug it in on my computer and I could pick the set list and I could make my like dream Kiss show.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Sounds
That's
reasonable,
fine.
But that's not a show. They're gonna want you to
Because it's
pay
just gonna
for
be
it.
studio
Yeah.
tracks. You're just listening to Kiss.
They're gonna want you to pay
Yeah.
for it. You
You're
just do it yourself.
I'm playing my playlist with a cartoon attachment.
But you know,
Ah.
I could do that one time, you know, and have my dream like elder set.
And then the AI just like
Messes up. It has like 8
programs
fingers.
Paul Stanley to just have stage banter.
Hey, Brian, thank you for buying.
We love you, Brian.
Love you.
You're our friend and totally not fair.
That sounds horrendous.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah. And they're gonna pay for it. People are gonna pay. Why? How do we get onto that level of just straight greed? Are you ready?
I told Walt, I was like, you know, TESD can't end now, right? I was like, you guys just have to
You
become
gotta be cartoon.
avatars.
AI guys, yeah. Just
Yeah.
program your thoughts into a machine. and
Into
have
an
it do
AI,
it.
yeah. Walt bot, Q bot,
Yeah.
Bry bot.
Yeah.
So then I'm like devastated at the end of the show. Like, I'm in such a bad mood.
Mhm.
So I leave and I go home. And this is the kicker. I find out that Kiss was handing out to people as they left these boxes with gold bars that are gold tickets that are
I've got a golden ticket.
that are limited to the show that say Final Kiss Show and has a serial number and it's proof you were there. And they're giving these out. They
You
were
didn't get one?
They were selling on eBay for as much as $4,000.
And you didn't get one.
They didn't announce it to people. They didn't tell people.
So if you went out the wrong exit, you didn't get this.
I didn't know this existed. I saw some people had boxes, but it looked like a Kiss cologne box
You
or
didn't
something.
see where it was being given out.
I had no clue this was a thing.
Wow.
I would have bought one. Or not bought one. I would have.
You would have
Received
received one.
one.
Yeah. And apparently, like the MSG staff, because usually when you do a giveaway,
If he got that, he wouldn't have needed the card to get gas.
Yeah, it would have saved us all. The FBI wouldn't have been contacted about your embezzlement.
so so this thing, this like golden ticket, right? That now usually at a sporting event, they hand these things out upon entry, right?
Going in.
Going in,
Sure, yeah.
which
I
is
guess.
fine. But as you're doing it at the end of the night, the MSG staff don't give a fuck.
Taking a pocket.
They were giving
Yeah.
some people 3 of them. They were giving
Yeah.
4 of them. Some of them were stealing them.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that's a good
You're going to
point.
sell it for a
Yeah.
ton.
Kiss could have easily.
Somebody's probably got like 8.
Yeah. Oh, there were people online that have like 4 or 5. I saw on Kiss forums.
All right.
Like they would just go back on the line, just kept grabbing them.
Ah.
And it's like, it was so.
And they're going for $4,000.
Shit.
Yeah. It was so poorly
It's
handled.
almost like Kiss is reimbursing you for paying for the ticket.
Yes.
Not really.
Because they have to know that it's going to get sold.
Yeah, they know. And they were giving people these tickets. And there was the opportunity to get one, and I just didn't even fucking know.
Wow.
So fucking pissed, man.
Did
Wow.
our listener get one?
No, me and him were emailing about it.
Wow.
Wow.
It's fucking bullshit. They
You know what?
botched the last show, in my opinion.
Yeah. You went to Kiss's last show. Fuck that. Their last show was 10 years ago.
No, this is their last show.
Their last show was 10 years ago. That's what I mean. Like they haven't played or sang in 10 years.
Gene is up there singing, and he still sounds great.
Sure.
Gene's a
Anyway.
marvel. Yeah, how'd we get here?
This was a great year.
I'm
Thank
the
you
best
so
member.
much.
He is.
You do a Gene?
No, I don't think I have a Gene in me. I'm a douchebag.
Yeah, I think,
I don't know.
I think you just have to talk really
I'm an
low.
asshole.
You have to talk really low and
I
kind
put
of
out the album,
you have to enunciate
featuring
the
the cover
fact that
Firestone.
I've had sex with 5,000 women, not 4, 5,000 women, and you would not imagine.
That's
kinda-
British.
I don't know. Maybe naturally when I speak like that, I just become British. Anyway, let's get out of here, guys.
Good night.
Good year.
Good luck.
Want to thank you all for listening and or watching. Please follow the show on all social media, Our View History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Want to give a big thank you to Tom, Steve, Dave, Bry, Walt, Q, Get 'em, letting us record down in the studio. Check them out. We greatly appreciate it. Follow the show on all social media. I did that part. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Go to reviewinghistorypod.com. You could send us an email or buy some merch. Yeah, didn't she die like a month or two ago? Yeah. All-time hottie. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. We love you. We'll see you. Your love has made us immortal.
No, it certainly isn't.
Good night.
I am the P-Man.